Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Parlay with Awthentik and The Beard, also known as the best television show that is not on television. This is the show where we break down all of the fantasy football and NFL betting that is on the slate for today, tonight, and tomorrow night. We will be answering all of your questions as we go through the slate. Let me bring in my man, Awthentik, in the building, the left side to my strong side.
Yeah, I like that. I always get confused on that one. You the strong side to the left side. You know, we might have to swap it out, man. I've had a pretty wild morning. Thank God for that extra hour today, man. That definitely saved me. I had to do some things in the morning, man, but we got it together. We here. Parlay. I'm ready to make some picks. Ready to give y'all a couple little, I got about a 4-5 piece nugget today, something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's early in the morning. Maybe I got a chicken biscuit.
Yeah, it's there's already a ton of injury news coming in and across the wire right now. It's probably going to be one of those very interesting Sundays that we have come accustomed to so far this season. My Washington football team is currently trailing by 10 against the bye week, but hopefully we can
I was about to say, is there a game in London or something I didn't know about?
So, yeah, I mean, just right before we went on, and we're going to go ahead and give some shout-outs to the people in the chat. News came out that Tua is out today. So, you know, it's literally going to be a crazy day of fantasy football and NFL betting. I got a couple of parlays put together, a couple of same-game parlays put together for tonight's game and Monday night's game. So it should be interesting. We want to thank everybody who is tuned in right now on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here. We appreciate it for sure. And if you guys have any questions relating to your fantasy football teams, whether it's season-long, DraftKings, FanDuel, make sure you guys drop those in the chat, and we will do our best to get to every single question as we progress through each and every game of the day. So let's say some shout-outs to the people in the chat. Big shout-out to Marjorie, who has been dropping gems already.
Early.
She says that the Giants are expected to have both Kadarius Toney and Kenny Galladay active today, and I will be rocking some Kadarius Toney in some of my DraftKings lineups for sure. I think he's going to have a big game today. Big shout-out to Waterfly in the building, always holding us down. We appreciate it, brother. And Sunday, another one of our, you know, everydayers, day oneers. I got to find a way to, like, combine those. Everyday, day one. Sunday, always holding us down in the chat. We appreciate it for sure.
Was day one on a Sunday? I think it was.
That is kind of crazy. Big shout out to Mac, the Giants fan, throwing those biceps in the chat.
What up, Mac? How you living?
Sir. Hope you are doing well. Who else we got in the building? The homie Cernox Connection is in the building, dropping biceps. Pumped for this Sunday, working in the basement, watching Awthentik and The Beard, and some NFL goodness. Let's go. Let's go for sure. And then there's the breaking Tua news. Margie says Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has a small fracture in the middle finger of his throwing hand that has not recovered enough to allow him to start today's game against the Texans. Jacoby Brissett is in. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. Big shout out to Double EZ in the building. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Roman is in the building. What's up,
Roman?
Great to see you, sir. And my favorite GQ name, Edward Squires, says, what's good, fellas? Another game day to see if our team can pull off a win.
What up?
Kalen Dragon is in the
56 building. In the building. What's up, fam? How you living, dog?
One of his teams is dead with Henry out, but 7-1 has never been better.
I hope you went and scooped up Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, it's. I mean, as soon as that news broke, people were going crazy. I'm really curious to see how he does because we're both big Adrian Peterson fans. So
yeah, big facts.
I think he'll fit in, well with that team because I feel like that, scheme and that style of run fits him perfectly. So
yeah,
and I heard that
it'll show the drop off too. Like what style of running backs can actually work in that system. Because if AP can work in that system, I think it says a lot about the system and maybe what's going on up front too.
Yeah, and he turned down a opportunity to be on Dancing with the Stars like a few days before he got
smart
signed.
Man.
Yeah, he was like, nah, I ain't done. I'm not done.
He's still dancing with the stars. That's
what's
up.
In the building, checking in from Cleveland, says OBJ Gone.
How you feeling about that, Glock?
That's another thing that's going to be interesting to see where he lands this week.
So there was some news in the middle of the night that was saying he's definitely trying to go to a playoff contender. I can't remember the two. San Francisco was the new team that was thrown in the mix that I didn't hear a lot of people talking about, and I like that fit right there. I mean, they got two, slot style type wide receivers. I think Odell Beckham could work on the outside. We talked about that like last week. I was saying how getting rid of Kendrick Bourne might have not been the greatest idea for them, and that might, take some pressure off the guys in the slot if they could bring in Odell.
Yeah, that would mean, and then you'd have to figure out, obviously, how much longer they plan on going with Jimmy G. But, I mean, they need to do something, I think, to, spark that team because that division is so difficult. It's funny that we brought that up because pre-production we were talking about how somebody was mentioning that all four of those teams can still make it out of that division in the playoffs, and that would definitely be a boost to their playoff hopes for sure.
For sure.
Big shout out to Ash Money in the building. What's good, Ash
Money?
Money?
What up,
Good to
boy?
see you. James Jones is in the building.
What up, dog? What up?
The Cardinal Rule. We will be talking
fam?
about some major injuries in that Cardinals-San Francisco game. It's just, I love it when things transition. Like, we don't even have to, think about it. But, going from San Francisco to maybe signing Odell to the game matchup, saying hello to Cardinal Rule, who's a Cardinals fan, Cardinals 49ers. Crazy stuff.
Facts. Check this one out. He says,
stuff.
too.
I hate OBJ to the Niners. It's a bad fit for my Cardinals for him to go there.
I like that.
Indeed.
Shout out to Cardinal Rule.
Nick the Wick is in the building. What's good, Nick the Wick?
Yeah, what's good, boy? What's good? What's good?
Tonyo Bots in the building.
Tonyo, what's good?
Leroy's in the building. Bluegrass Pickers in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Artix is in the building.
Oh, Artix. That might be a new one.
That's a new one too. Artix, yep. And then here we go. Bass Va Grant. Hello, guys. Hope everyone is doing good. Good to see you, sir.
Definitely are. Appreciate you asking. Hope all is well over there.
Noah Rivera is in the building, ready for a Giants dub.
I'm ready for one. Yeah, I'm overdue for one, for sure.
Big shout out to CJ Talks Movies in the building also. Appreciate it.
CJ's got an awesome Giants channel as well, too. Shout out, CJ.
And the first question of the day, shout out to Nick the Wick for the $4.99 super chat says, flex, Darrell Williams, Kenny Galladay, Jeremy McNichols, or make a quick trade for Cole Beasley.
I make the quick trade for Cole Beasley right away. The Bills should go off today on the Jaguars. They got one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL right now. I look for every wide receiver on the Bills to go off today.
Yeah, as long as you're not giving up too much, I would definitely have to agree with that. Cole Beasley has come on strong the last couple of games for sure. And then with Jeremy McNichols, I just think that, he's probably going to remain a third down back with Adrian Peterson there. Kenny Galladay, we just don't know how long his health can progress. He is slated to play today, so hopefully he goes out there and plays strong. Darrell Williams, that whole last game with Derek Gore just completely threw me off of Darrell Williams. I don't know who to play at running back in Kansas City ever, so I kind of have to stay.
Now, with Jeremy McNichols, wwho AP's not going to be out there today, so he's probably going to get most of the touches, right? Is there anybody else they're dressing at running back?
They have it's like a committee, so there'll be 2 or 3, but I think he'll probably end up getting most of the touches. But he is it's going to be weird because he's primarily like a scat back sort of situation.
Yeah.
Kind of like I look at it like how with the Eagles situation when Miles Sanders goes down, Kenneth Gainwell is super, high upside and could break anything for a big play. But as far as like getting the ball like on a down-to-down basis, they went with Boston Scott. So that's kind of how I look at Jeremy McNichols is more like a Kenneth Gainwell than a Boston Scott in a backup role.
Yeah, if you can't get the trade, you might be forced to go with Jeremy McNichols because I'm not feeling Darrell Williams right now either. It's no telling what the touch volume is going to be like. But in Tennessee, I'd look for the running back to get a lot of touches for sure. But that's a good comparison you made to Kenneth Gainwell there because Boston Scott and was my man Jordan Howard got most of the touches, once Miles Sanders did go out, which was interesting.
Jordan Howard is crazy. Big shout out to Cody. Hope things are going better, brother. Keep that head up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that message on Twitter.
We can provide you with some entertainment and some laughs and some smiles, if not
plenty fish in the sea, Cody. I know how it is to be clung on. I definitely know what that's like, bro. So best of luck to you with that, fam.
Big shout out to C-Bands, never stay lacking, voted 5. Do we start CMC? Listen, I have him on one of my teams, and I also have Chuba Hubbard. that team is currently 1-7, so I decided, hey, I'm going to start Christian McCaffrey. But it is definitely a risk because they're talking about him being on a potential snap count. But in season long, even if he gives you 15 snaps, there's a possibility he could get you, 15 points on those 15 snaps. That's definitely a possibility. It's going to be a risk. As far as like DraftKings and FanDuel go, he's still super pricey. So it's like, do I really want to pay $8,000-$9,000 of my salary on DraftKings for a guy that I don't even know how many snaps he's going to play? It's super risky.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it depends, man. It's hard to be like, I'm going to bench CMC. And then I feel like if he wasn't ready, why would they put him back in? It just doesn't make sense. So I think he might have a sneaky
desperate to try to save that season.
Big shout out to my homie Jimmy over at Old School Flips. He is a Broncos fan. He says Damien Harris or Elijah Mitchell, who is questionable but is playing. Look, I love both of these running backs, but that questionable injury with Elijah Mitchell kind of scares me a little bit. And he's at 4:00. And I believe Damien Harris is at 1:00. Damien Harris
at 1.
Tear lately. So I personally would probably go with Damien Harris. It depends on the rest of my lineup, but that's a tough one because Elijah Mitchell has been playing lights out football for the 49ers lately.
Yeah, I'm going Damien Harris on that one. They got the matchup against the Panthers. Panthers defense kind of seems like it was all smoke and mirrors for the first 3 to 4 weeks there. I'd look for him to have a big day.
Big shout out to the homie Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says salute paisani. Drop by your office to pay our proper respects for the sit down and toin on the lights for the show. Forget about it.
My man Tuto, what's good, fam? Giants Nation is in the building. Y'all know what it is.
All right, you ready to rock and roll, sir?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's get into these games, ladies and gentlemen. The first game on the slate is going to be the Atlanta Falcons, who are 3-4. They are 7-point favorites heading to the New Orleans Saints, who are 5-2. The over-under is 42.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As everybody knows, Jameis Winston done for the year. A lot of people thought Taysom Hill, who's coming back from injury, was going to get the starting nod, but Sean Payton has decided to go with Super Bowl winning quarterback Trevor Siemian. So this is going to be
Super Bowl winning. Yeah, I like that.
I had to throw that in there for all the Trevor Siemian stands. I mean, this game is going to be super interesting because, as far as fantasy goes, obviously you're like Alvin Kamara his stock is going to boom through the roof now that, there was already more of a run heavy offense. But now that you have Trevor Siemian in the game, does that kind of move in the direction of even more Kamara? But then Taysom Hill coming back always cuts into Alvin Kamara's carries, especially at the goal line. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I don't really know what to go, but I am riding some Alvin Kamara in a couple of lineups just because that Atlanta Falcons rush defense is pretty bad, 27th in the league. Last week they gave up 203 yards to the Carolina Panthers. That was without Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, and then Kyle Pitts obviously had a down game last week. This Saints defense it deserves more credit, in my opinion. It's a really good defense.
I think I saw a statistic about how many straight games they don't have a 100-yard rusher against them. It was something pretty crazy.
Yeah, and who's going to rush for 100 yards on the Falcons? Mike Davis? No.
Cordero Patterson, man.
Cordero Patterson.
Can we add the special teams yards and the receiving yards combined?
I wouldn't be surprised if Cordero Patterson somehow sneaks through this game with something like that. 30, 40 yards on the ground, and maybe 60 yards receiving and a touchdown. I don't know how anybody doesn't play Cordero Patterson week in and week out. He is, in my opinion, the most jackknife player. Is it a jackknife? Swiss Army knife? One of those knives. He's a knife. You know what I'm saying? The dude literally does everything. I think he's been probably one of the most, if not the most, surprised player in the National Football League this entire season. This game, to me, I like the Falcons. I think might be able to hang around if they can produce a turnover from Trevor Siemian. Like that's going to be the key. Is if they have like backup quarterback comes in where it's like looks like Dwayne Haskins against the Giants 2 years ago, or is it backup quarterback comes in and looks like Mike White? You don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You got Sean Payton over there, so I'd bank on him looking a little more like Mike White than looking like Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, and I think you can rely on Sean Payton to put together a proper game plan based upon the personnel that he has on the field. Like, there's no doubt about that. I like the Saints to win this game. If the Falcons, if it was more than 7, I might take the Falcons. Like maybe if I got like 9.5, I would take the Falcons to cover. But I think I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints to cover the 7, and then I'm going to take the over 42.5.
Taking the over with a backup quarterback in Atlanta. It won't surprise me if the Falcons win this game, actually. I mean, it's a division rival. They always play them tight. Falcons right now are 2-2 in their last 4 games, and both losses are by 1 possession. I told y'all, man, at the beginning of the year, everybody was like, the Falcons got the worst defense in the league when the Giants were seeing them. And, I knew that the Falcons just needed a little bit of time to kind of get things, acclimated in that offense, especially with Kyle Pitts. No Calvin Ridley, obviously, with the mental health issues, taking his time away from football. I think that's going to aid Kyle Pitts. It didn't last week, but Kyle Pitts should have a big day today. I'd rely heavy on Alvin Kamara. Saints only got 15 big plays all season. That's dead last in the NFL, and they got a backup quarterback in there right now. They're going to rely heavily on the run. They're going to rely heavily on the screen game as well with Alvin Kamara, so I like him in this matchup. I mean, give me the Falcons and the spread, man. I think they'll get there. I mean, like I said, it's not going to surprise me if they win this game. It's a backup quarterback, but I do think Sean Payton is going to be the X factor in this game. So I'll take the Saints for the victory, but I got the Falcons to cover. And as far as the over/under, I'm going to take the under.
It's a tricky one, 42.5. It's not like a Bears game, but it's pretty low. So, but
Yeah.
like you said, backup quarterback, you never really know in that situation. So, we got a question from Patricio: Khalil Herbert or CMC at the flex? I feel what you just said about CMC, but still undecided. I mean, once again, like Khalil Herbert's going to be on Monday night, and I love Khalil Herbert. You've heard me talk about him for probably the last 4 weeks, ever since he finally got his shot. He's performed very well. But that Steelers defense is crazy. So I might have to roll with CMC in that situation.
That one is really tough, man.
Yeah.
I want to see Khalil Herbert's numbers from last week because I didn't get to keep a good eye on him last week.
I want to say he put up 100 yards last week, maybe. That was the game against San Francisco.
So he's got 3.
72?
He's got 3 straight games. Three straight pretty solid games. That 72 was his low, and it was his low average yards per carry too. He's struggling to get in the end zone. I think Herbert might be the safer play, actually, with CMC coming back fresh off the IR and having the snap count there. So I think I'm going to go Khalil Herbert for the day.
Not mad at it. Big shout out to Tuto for the $4.99 super chat. Says, salute, Authentic. We are all waiting for his angry, fired up rants like true Italian. We could use him at right price anytime to motivate our team all day.
Yo, it's been a funny couple of weeks because I've been on a super trolling spree of Daniel Jones and just listing quarterbacks with touchdowns. And, it's wild how it just exposes people's feelings, though, I feel like, about the quarterback situation. I think at the end of the day, man, you got to be realistic and look at this team. And, yeah, there's problems on this team, but we're looking for a quarterback that can overcome that situation. I don't want to have the next coming of Davis Mills in blue at the quarterback position. So we got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone. Daniel Jones doesn't even have back-to-back games with multiple touchdowns this year. Hopefully we can get that done this week. He did have 2 last week. I'm looking for him to put up a good 3. Hopefully all the trolling I've been doing this week makes him put up about 5 touchdowns, and the Giants can walk away with a victory at home against the Raiders. But we shall see.
So, breaking news really fast. Jacksonville Jaguars running back James Robinson is officially out today. Per Ian Rappaport, I believe. Yes, thank you, Ian. Ian Rappaport says James Robinson is out for today's game. Also, Justin Jefferson is warming up in a free Odell sweatshirt.
Hey, that's what's up, man. One quick more nugget about this Falcons Saints game here. So, and I got this. This is inspired from your Ezekiel Elliott statistic the other show we just did a couple days back where you went all the way back to 2017. I went back to 2018 on my man Matt Ryan one time here. It's the last time that he's gone off against the Saints for real. He racked up 40.2 fantasy points. In the 5 games since, he's averaging 14 fantasy points. So that's more reason for you to take the under in this game, too. So I'm definitely going with that under 42.5.
I'm not mad at that nugget, old or not. Everybody has to heat up a nugget in the microwave every once in a while, right?
McDonald's goes bad after a couple days, though.
I don't know about that, man. I've had some. We'll save that for another podcast.
You said I don't know about that. I was about to be like, where you going with this one? You heat that McDonald's ketchup up on the burger 2 days later. I don't even know. That might be like synthetic ketchup. I don't even know what that stuff is. And then the cheese be turning all dark. Oh, God, McDonald's. I'm not loving it. I swear to you. But if y'all ever want to sponsor Awthentik and The Beard, man, no problem. We are not financial advisors, but, hey, we will take that bag from McDonald's. I know you heard about that Travis Scott situation over the weekend. Speaking of McDonald's, man, so big prayers out to all the families who lost loved ones or had injured loved ones at that concert, man. That was I'm trying not to curse, but that was a debacle. That was a debacle for them. Live Nation really got to reconsider themselves. I've done a lot of concerts with Live Nation over the years, man. Never had no problems with them, but that's the first time I've ever seen something crazy like that go down.
Yeah, I told to make it quick, I told Josie's mom last night about how I was at the HF Festival the year Eminem was there performing, and there was a it's not a stampede, but it was a crowd. I forget what the actual proper term is, but there was an incident similar to that at the HF Festival when Eminem was performing. And it was an unreal scene. And he had to stop the show and was cursing at the crowd to, make room. It was a crazy situation. So I can only imagine what that's like, on it. Because that was a pretty big concert, but this was like a festival.
Yeah, this was on a whole nother level. And the video footages are just ridiculous, man. Such a sad situation, man. And you do expect the artist to kind of step in there, but when you got an ambulance dead in the middle of the crowd, it's time to stop the show.
Yeah, for sure. James Jones says Kadarius, Debo, or Diggs. I'm gonna go with Diggs and Kadarius. Debo is also banged up and going to possibly be on a snap count today as well. The 49ers have a couple of these guys today where they've been like, he's going to play, but we're not sure how long he's going to go for. What? Okay.
I'm taking Debo on this, even with the low snap count, even if he is on a, they're watching how many snaps he's going to have on a day, because Debo Samuel just coming off one of his biggest games. I think he's riding high on confidence right now. So even with limited snaps, I think he'll still be able to put up some pretty big numbers. 49ers, man, they're might be the most slept on team right now I'm gonna say in the NFC, but possibly in the NFL right now. Sitting at around 500, I believe. They're quietly making their way up to the top of this playoff situation here. And if they could buy themselves a wild card, ain't no telling what they could do. I got faith in the coach, probably my second favorite coach in the NFC right now as we speak.
Interesting. I'm not mad at it. Debo has been, we talked about him last Sunday. He's been crazy. Big shout out to Stephen Lilly for the 10-pound super chat. Says, I don't get NFL teams, so much money and investment, so little protection on players. We look at Watson, OBJ, and everything at Raiders. It's crazy. I spoke to Awthentik about it last year. It's crazy. It
really is, man. And that's something I've always hammered on when I talk about the Odell situation, because, I hammer this point a lot, man. People be like, I'm a fan of the logo. I'm a fan of the players and the logo. The players make up the logo. So I think it's very important that you have damage control within these locker rooms, within these organizations, starting from the front office. The situation that's happening with the I can't remember if he's a cornerback or not. Homie over there with the Raiders right now, he was on Instagram flashing some of the biggest guns I've ever seen on an Instagram Live, threatening, to kill somebody, which I don't know the situation. I was talking to Double Easy about this a little bit. It seems like he might have been threatened. Somebody was saying they was going to pull up to his house. And in that case, he does have the right to defend himself. But just the energy that he's giving off on camera in that whole situation kind of goes to show you that there's not somebody that's really in control of these players. And these players are kind of doing their own thing, a bunch of wild cards out there. A lot of these people don't come from backgrounds where they have a lot of professionalism, a lot of etiquette on the job. They're just good football players who know how to slam helmets and be able to make tackles or be able to make plays. So I think there is a portion of the NFL that needs to focus on development. And this goes back to what we were talking about last episode when you talk about value of these players and how much money they're actually making. Why are you going to invest millions of dollars into a guy but not invest just a little bit of money to control the damage that the player might be dealing with? So I totally agree with you on that, Stephen Lilly, and we appreciate your presence here in the building, brother.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and I'd hope you see a lot of these players now addressing their mental health issues too. So I think that's something, that kind of goes along with what you just said, that, there should be some of all this money that the league is making, they should be pouring some of that money into some more of these programs for these players.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next game on the slate's going to be the Buffalo Bills, who are 5-2 and 14.5-point favorites, heading to Jacksonville. The over/under in this game is 48.5 points. Kickoff is Sunday today, 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Buffalo in this season is 5-2 against the spread, and they have been like double-digit favorites, I feel like, every other week, and not just regular double-digit favorites, but like insane, like 14.5, 15.5, 16.5.
Yeah.
They seem to keep covering these spreads.
They're covering by an average of 9.6 points per game too, which that's solid for them.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's best.
Actually.
It's best in the NFL too. Wow, it's crazy.
Well, and like we mentioned, no James Robinson today. So Carlos Hyde's going to be taking over. He might be a sneaky pick if you're in a jam. I'm probably going to end up maybe plugging him in a couple of DraftKings lineups once we get off of air. The Bills' offense is averaging 32.7 points a game. Number one in the NFL.
Number one.
Their defense is giving up 15.6 points per game. Number one in the NFL. So
that sounds like why they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, so I'm going to go. I think this is an easy one for me. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take the minus 14.5. I think Jacksonville might put some points on the board. But without James Robinson, like he is, I think at this point in the stage, you have to say he's the most consistent, productive offensive player they have.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have to go with that. And then on Buffalo, I would imagine a lot of people are going to be in daily fantasy, going to be stacking some Josh Allens and Stephon Diggs. I think you might see a breakout game from Diggs this year. He's been consistent, but he hasn't had like those crazy games. This year, they've been spreading the ball around a lot more, and they've been running the ball a lot more. Zach Moss might be a good play in this game as well. So what do you think, Mr. Authentic?
I mean, the Bills have been kicking ass and taking names, man. They got over 30 points in 5 of their 7 games right now. The Jaguars have the league's worst pass defense right now. They're allowing quarterbacks to complete at a 74% completion percentage. That's 31st in the NFL. QBR, they're allowing 63.5. That's dead last in the NFL. Josh Allen has 6 straight games with at least 2 touchdowns. This is what I'm talking about, the maturation of a quarterback. And I was not like super high on Josh Allen. I was like, that's a good quarterback, but he might be being a little bit overhyped after the 3rd season when Stephon Diggs came over there. But the dude is definitely balling out, man. And this Jaguars defense, you got to look at these quarterbacks who have thrown 300-plus yards on them right now. Tyrod Taylor, Tua, and Teddy Bridgewater all threw for over 300 yards against them. So for me, talked about this earlier with the comment we got in the comment section there in the chat. I'd watch out for all the wide receivers: Stephon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, anybody on the bench. What's up with Gabriel Davis this year?
He caught a touchdown last week, but he's kind of, I think, with the signing of Emmanuel Sanders, it cut into his playing time progression. But he does see the field.
You got to love those smaller wide receivers like an Emmanuel Sanders who can, you can move him around and use him as a chess piece as a wide receiver. He can go slot, he can go outside, he can do it all. Trevor Lawrence has 4 interceptions when pressured this season. That's tied for 2nd most in the NFL, and the Bills have pressured opponents at the 4th highest rate at 33%. So, I mean, this game looks like it should be a mollywop. This should be an easy alley-oop for the Bills to win this game in the first half for real, man. So 14.5 is crazy. But I got to take it. I'm going to take the 14.5, and I'm going to take the under. I think that the Bills' defense, like you talked about, I think they're going to be able to hold this Jaguars offense to very low points, maybe put up a good 31 on the board, keep us right under that 48, maybe a good 31, 35 or something like that, and the Jaguars maybe put up a score and a field goal or something like that. Bills have had a top 3 or top 30 fantasy receivers in each of their past 2 games. They've had 3 in the top 30. So Josh Allen is just really on fire right now, man. I don't know what else to say. And if, I was talking about the Ravens being my Super Bowl pick, but the Bills are starting to really look like a Super Bowl pick coming out the AFC. We'll see playoff time. We know Josh Allen likes to make those big, major mistakes in the playoffs on 3rd down, taking sacks, kind of like my boy Daniel Jones did in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs on Monday night. 2 sacks, 4 plays. We out of here. No game-winning drive. So we'll see how things get to go when it's playoff time. But in this game against probably the worst team in the NFL, maybe the second worst team in the NFL, I got the Bills covering that 14.5, and I'm going to take the under.
Speaking of quarterbacks, shout out to James Funk watching us on Facebook right now. He wants to know Jordan Love or Justin Herbert. As much as I love Jordan Love, and I love Jordan Love long-term upside. I
thought you was going to say long time. I love Jordan Love long time.
That'd be good, right? I once called Jordan Love the next Patrick Mahomes.
Not once, no, not twice. I heard that about 4 times this week.
Yeah. So just reminding everybody, if he does go out and ball, then I might look like a genius. If he goes out and looks horrible, then I look like the Beard. But,
I mean, if it's a little bit expendable, man, like if you've been winning your fantasy games, let's say you sitting on like 1 loss, 2 losses, and you could take a risk for a week, go ahead and do it, man. I mean, I'm in a league where I've lost almost every game but 2 games, I want to say. I'm starting Jordan Love today, but my quarterback situation, it was either Daniel Jones or Jordan Love. And you know me, man, the proof is in the pudding. I need to see Daniel Jones go out here and prove that he can put together multi-touchdown games back-to-back. I'm not going to say good games because 222 yards is not a good game with an interception. But, I mean, yeah, if you got a little bit of leadway, a little bit of room, maybe test him out. But I think the obvious pick here is Herbert.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Definitely going to go with Justin Herbert. But if you're feeling froggy,
if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and leave. I like that.
All right, next game on the slate, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the Cleveland Browns, who are 4-4, headed to Cincinnati, right down the road, who is 5-3. The Bengals are favored by 1.5 points. The over-under in this game is 47. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
This one's tough, man. I think picking just any game with the Bengals involved is very difficult to pick. I mean, they go out here last week, they lose to the Jets. They're going out there a couple weeks before competing with the Packers, one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow has 3 straight games with 3 touchdown passes. I think that's awesome. He's a guy that you definitely want to start in this game. That's tied for the longest streak in franchise history with Carson Palmer and your boy Andy Dalton. And speaking of Andy Dalton, I think he's a perfect example of a quarterback who's like right in that balance of game manager, not a franchise guy, but, did some decent things there. He did take the Bengals to the playoffs, I believe, maybe a couple of times during his tenure with the Bengals. But, all in all, not the kind of quarterback you want to hang your hat on if you're, running that GM job like my boy Dave Gettleman is. The Browns right now have allowed 17 touchdown passes on the season. It's 3rd most in the NFL. So for me, I'm looking for Joe Burrow to have a very big day today. The 1.5 is a little bit difficult. I'm going to keep it funky, but I'll go Bengals in this one. I'll get them to cover that 1.5, and I'll take the over. I got the Browns trying to battle. I got Baker Mayfield going to be out here trying to show off that he can do things without Odell Beckham and prove your boy Colin Cowherd right. Cleveland is 0-7 against the spread against divisional opponents since the start of last season. They're 0-3 against the spread against teams with winning records this season. The Bengals are coming in at 5-3. I got the Bengals in this one. I got them pushing it to 6-3. Pretty good team, man. Surprising. I'd say the Bengals are probably the most surprising team in the NFL this year, especially with a young quarterback and a rookie wide receiver leading them doing all that damage.
Shout out to Marjorie dropping gems in the chat. Says Joe Burrow is the only quarterback in the NFL with multiple touchdown passes in every game his team has played this season.
That's fire. And he ain't one of the quarterbacks that played 7 games. He's already played 8 games. No bye yet.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 70 people watching right now. Look, this is an interesting game because the Bengals, are more of a, when you look at them from, the back, you're kind of like, okay, this is a high-flying offense with the way that they pass the ball with all the weapons with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow slanging the rock. But they're in the trenches. This is going to be an important game. So the Browns' run offense is number 1 in the National Football League, as you would expect with the way that they play football and the running backs that they have, and even the ones that have stepped up in the absence of the other running backs. But Cincinnati's run defense is 7th best in the league right now. So that's going to be interesting if the Bengals are able to sort of contain that run game. Are the Browns going to be able to change things and pass the ball effectively to score and put points on the board? And just some more on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, 5th in the National Football League in yards, 2,269 yards. 3rd in the National Football League in touchdown passes with 20. But he is also 2nd in the league with 9 interceptions. And the Browns are getting back Denzel Ward this week. So I think this is going to be a close game. I think that spread of 1.5 definitely, is accurate. I do like the Bengals. I've been a kind of this pushing the Bengals agenda week in and week out. So I'm hoping that they can bounce back after that loss against the Jets and really prove that they are a, legitimate playoff contending team. So I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the -1.5, and I'm going to take the over 47 as well.
Another thing to keep your eye on in this game is the how the Jets running backs played against the Bengals last week in the passing game. Michael Carter and Ty Johnson both went off in the passing game. 9 catches for Michael Carter for 95 yards, 5 for Ty Johnson for 71. They were 2 of the 3 leading wide receivers or 2 of the 3 leading receivers for the Jets in that game. So that's the thing about the Bengals. It's like you don't know what team you're really going to get, and they allowed Mike White to go out there and put up 3 touchdowns. So I'm a little bit worried about that as well. So I just want to throw out there that it won't surprise me if the Browns can find a way to win this game. But I do think all the turmoil in the locker room with all the Odell Beckham stuff is definitely going to slow them down. No Kareem Hunt again, right? Is Kareem Hunt on IR right now?
He's on IR, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I think when they get him back, that'll definitely help them out. And we'll have to see Nick Chubb step it up in the passing game, and maybe D'Ernest Johnson can see his way in the passing game too.
Yep. And some of the actives and inactives are starting to roll in.
Shout out my man Glock one time in the building.
I know Marjorie has some. She says Galladay is active. For the Giants, inactives are Saquon Barkley, Lorenzo Carter, Nate Ebner, Sterling Shepard, and O'Shane Jimenez.
Yeah, Zimenez,
my bad.
Yeah, I remember those. A lot of those came out earlier in the week. Saquon Barkley, man, talk about can't get right. It's just COVID situation, ankle 2019, knee 2020. It's been a lot, man. But I do wish the best for the kid. He's got a lot of pressure on him right now. Giants really can't move him or nothing like that. So he's got to find a way to get back on that field and start making some plays.
Ravens' Sammy Watkins is out, as is Broncos pass rusher Malik Reed, who is somebody that we talked about on Thursday night show as stepping up in the absence of Von Miller. Odell Beckham is inactive because technically he's still on the Browns right now.
He's got to wait for waivers till Monday.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold and Christian McCaffrey are active. Saints safety Malcolm Jenkins is also active. So that's just some of the stuff that's coming across the line right now. Let's go ahead and move into the next game. It is the New England Patriots, who are 4-4. They are 3-point favorites at the Carolina Panthers. The over-under in this game is 41.5 points. The Panthers are also 4-4. This game kicks off at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I mean, the Panthers are on the down. The Patriots are on the up right now. I talked about the Patriots being one of my number 1 landing spots, actually, for Odell Beckham Jr. I think that, you could compare this to Randy Moss. A lot of people are saying, 2 teams don't want Odell Beckham Jr. He's probably washed, but the same thing kind of happened to Randy Moss early on in his career, and then he went on to break the touchdown record. And a young quarterback like Mac Jones, who I said this a couple weeks ago and kind of got a couple crazy faces out here, best rookie quarterback right now in the NFL is Mac Jones. I don't care what nobody say. My man Mac Jones right now. Who? Sam Darnold getting the start. Mac Jones. I've got no faith in Sam Darnold right now, especially going up against Bill Belichick, man. He's going to struggle on the day here. The wide receiver to keep your eyes on in this game is DJ Moore. DJ Moore has been having a pretty good year, but check this out. He's got 4 straight games now without a touchdown. I think that's really interesting. 5 games with 10+ looks, though. So he's definitely going to get the target share for sure. Maybe we can see him get a bounce back game here. New England has gone over the total in 4 consecutive games. So I tell you what, I'm going to take the over in this game because the Patriots have been surprising me with putting up points on the board. And I'm going to take the Patriots to win this one, and I got them to cover. I'm going to say a score of somewhere like Patriots definitely getting the 30s today. I'm going to say like 30. Let's go 33-14 Patriots.
This game scares me. It scares me so much because everything that you said is 100% spot on. It makes me think that this is
Except
an easy game.
I was 0.4 under the over, so let me go 34 for the Patriots. Let me go 34 with the Patriots on that one, 14-40 Panthers.
Because but maybe the Panthers defense shows up. I mean, Mac Jones is still a rookie quarterback. There is some inconsistencies there. I'd be curious. I didn't get a chance to, but I wanted to look at Sam Darnold's stats against Bill Belichick when he played for the Jets. I know he had Adam Gase, but still, it would have been an interesting kind of thing to kind of look at and see how badly he performed against them. I will give you a couple of names in this game, though. Hunter Henry has come on really strong over the last few weeks. Jonnu Smith has been banged up. Hunter Henry had an awful start to the beginning of the year. They spent a lot of money on those two tight ends. Hunter Henry has 4 touchdowns, which leads the team. And he's had all 4 of those receiving touchdowns over the last 5 weeks. Last week ended his 4-game streak of touchdowns, but I think he's somebody to kind of keep your eye on. And we already talked about Damien Harris. Damien Harris, I mean, he's been playing really good football under the radar. He's got 80-plus yards on the ground, 3 straight games, and a touchdown in 4 straight games. So it's, he seems like a guy that you definitely want to play. And in daily fantasy, DraftKings and FanDuel, he's not really talked about right now, and his salary is fairly cheap, so I would definitely think about that. Also, we got to talk about Stephon Gilmore revenge game. I mean, maybe he comes out here and picks off Mac Jones 2 times.
Doubtful.
That
I'll take the under.
What about 1 pick? I give Stephon Gilmore 1
I'll
pick
take the under.
Really? I think Stephon Gilmore gets a pick today. And this is in Carolina. Give me the Patriots to win, Carolina to cover. I think it's a 1-point game, and I think we just barely get over the over. I'm going to say the Patriots win 22-21.
I had Jonnu Smith on my fantasy team early on in the year, and his problem was just getting the targets. I forget how much money I think they gave him like $40 million, something like that. And he's pretty much just been a blocking tight end. Hunter Henry's been getting more of the targets, and he's coming off of I guess it is a down game. He only had 1 catch for 33 yards, but the touchdowns he's been racking up. Before that, he had 4 straight games with a touchdown. He started off the season with 3 straight games with no touchdowns, and then went 4 straight with a touchdown. So I'd look for him to get back on the board. I'll take the over on him getting a touchdown today for sure.
Beasley or Hollywood Brown?
Ooh, Hollywood.
I'm also going to go Hollywood as well. Shout out to James Funk holding us down on the Facebook chat. Appreciate it, brother.
Big facts. Big shout out to James Funk.
All right, let's move on to the next game, the first NFC East game on the slate today. It's going to be the Denver Broncos, who are 4-4. They are headed to Dallas, face the Cowboys, who are 6-1. The Cowboys are favored by 9.5 points. The over-under in this game is 49. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cowboys got a couple of people that are a little banged up right now, Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, but I am expecting both of those guys to play. I love Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper stacks in daily fantasy, DraftKings, and FanDuel. I think this game is going to be kind of interesting. I don't know if the Broncos are going to be able to keep up with the Cowboys. I think that they should do their best to run the ball as much as possible. I think Javonte Williams has a big game today. Another name to watch for the Denver Broncos is going to be Albert O. Noah Fant, their normal tight end or their number 1 tight end, has COVID and he is out today. Albert O showed up last week in the absence of Noah Fant at times and had some big plays. He is in his 2nd year. He has a ton of potential. He's a big target. I really like Albert O today. I say Albert O because I don't want to butcher his last name. I butcher normal words, so I don't know what I would do to his last name, but I think he's a sneaky play, especially DraftKings FanDuel, because he's going to be super cheap, like really cheap. So definitely keep your eye on Albert O in this game. I think Cedric Wilson is another guy under the radar. We saw how he played last week, and he's actually put together some pretty good games this week. This season. But the only problem is that he's one of those boomer bust guys.
No volume over there for him, really. With all it's crowded. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
So if you need to take a flyer on somebody or you need to throw in a cheap guy in one of your DraftKings FanDuel lineups, I definitely would look at Cedric Wilson as a possibility. I just think that in the end, the Cowboys are going to be too much. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win. I got close to taking the Broncos to cover this, but I'm going to take that offense just scares me so much. I'm going to take the Cowboys to cover the 9.5. And I'm going to go under 49.
Under 49. I got you. Man, the Cowboys right now, of all the teams that we're covering today and all the matchups, I got the most notes on this game right here. Like, what it must feel like to be a Cowboys fan on this Sunday morning, man. 6-game winning streak. They are one of 2 teams to outgain every opponent every game. The Broncos have lost 3 of their last 4. 2 blocked field goals last week versus Washington, and they barely got a win. The Cowboys are going to blow the smoke off of the Broncos today. You trust me on that. Dak Prescott threw for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns in the season opener after missing most of training camp. He's coming off an injury. I'd look for him to have a similar type game. Broncos are allowing 17.1 points per game this season. They lost Von Miller. I don't know what's going on with Tyron Smith right now, the left tackle for the Cowboys, but that'll probably be a wash right there. So you can't take advantage of that if Tyron Smith is out of the game. The Cowboys have scored at least 35 points in 8 straight home games with Dak Prescott as their starter. CeeDee Lamb is attempting to become the first Cowboys player with 100 receiving yards in 3 straight games since
Michael Irving.
Terrell Owens in 2007. Cooper is trying to get back-to-back 100-yard games for the first time since he was with the Raiders. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. And Broncos wide receiver Corlyn Sutton has 3 top 10 weeks this season, but has finished outside the top 60 at the position in both games in which teammate Jerry Jeudy was active. Jerry Jeudy's definitely going to be on the field today, so Corlyn Sutton might be a guy you might want to sit. Dak Prescott, man, dude just been on fire. 3 of Dak's 7 games, he's gone over 300-plus passing yards. I talked about this one on Thursday. 2 of those 3, he's gone over 400. He's got 1 game where he didn't have 3 or more passing touchdowns on the season. Dak Prescott is on fire. We haven't even talked about the running back situation over there. Dallas Cowboys this should be one of those games where you're on the sidelines. Yeah, by the end of the 3rd quarter. So give me the Cowboys. Give me them to cover. I'm going to take the over. They're going to blow the socks off the Broncos today.
Unless, 2017 Zeke shows up.
Right. Hey, you made it. You tried, bro. I appreciate the effort. You know how your teachers used to say, A, what was it, A for effort? That doesn't make sense. But
does it at all. But, okay. Big shout-out to Tuto for the $4.99 Super Jazz says, New York Giant problems start from at the top. Moron Mara family members have taken all executive positions for financial reasons and have destroyed the New York Giants.
I hear you, man. I hear you, but I don't know if I'm feeling you on this one too. Though I hear you though. The players got to play. The coaches got to coach. GM got to find a way to bring in the right players. Got to bring in those dogs, those healthy dogs at that. I mean, a lot of it is on the top. I know a lot of people been definitely, blaming it on the top, but I'm one of them, kind of dudes that's like, it's on the players, man. Started from the bottom, now we here. Giants are sitting at 2-6, still at the bottom. But, that's supposed to be a line when you're on top, but the Giants could use that for the rest of the, 2021 for sure, man, because I'm losing hope in these Giants right now, man. It's been pretty ugly, but we appreciate you pulling up too, though.
For sure.
That right. For sure. I love that. I need that on the soundboard. for sure. Shout out to Beard one time.
Got to give him a little West Coast vibes on that. All right. Next game on the slate going to be the Minnesota Vikings, who completely let us all down, who are fans of other NFC East teams in their debacle last Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. But they're 3-4 now. They're heading over here to Baltimore to face the Ravens, who are 5-2. The Ravens are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 50.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lamar Jackson about ready to have a classic Lamar Jackson game. A amazing Lamar Jackson game. I think he's going to throw for 2 touchdowns, rush for 2 touchdowns, might have over 400 total yards of offense.
I like it.
Look, Brown is actually 6th in yards receiving in the National Football League this year. And I think Rashad Bateman is going to step up again this week. He's a little banged up, but no Sammy Watkins, as we talked about earlier. And as Marjorie just, went into details onto his thigh injury and how it felt this morning. This is going to be interesting. It's top 10 offenses in this game. The Ravens are what are they? They're the number 3 overall offense in the National Football League. The Minnesota Vikings are the number 7th overall offense in the National Football League. But don't sleep on the Vikings putting up some points in this game, especially Kirk Cousins. This is an opportunity for Kirk Cousins to have a bounce-back game after that his poor showing against the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm so upset about if you can't tell. Baltimore has allowed 3 quarterbacks to throw over 400 yards this season so far. So this is an opportunity for Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson.
I wonder who the quarterbacks are. That's a good stat, though.
It is. I meant to write it down, but I ran out of space on my page, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Joe Burrow was one of them. I want to say...
What's the Nas line? All the words past the margin. To hold the mic, I'm throbbing. Mechanical movement. Understandable, smooth. Yeah, that's what it was. Ran out of page.
So, yeah, I'll give you another sleepy player in this game. But they're not sleepy. They're a sleeper.
Yeah.
Okay? Tight end. I've been giving you guys some tight ends to look at today in that low dollar range.
Mm-hmm.
Conklin.
You remember I talked about 3 episodes ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Had 2 touchdowns back then.
It's crazy. The Ravens have been giving up tons of fantasy production to the tight end position. And at first, everybody was like, oh, well, look at the tight ends that they played. They played Darren Waller, they played Travis Kelce. But then if you look at the back end of the after Cooper, they went through that brutal stretch, they played a lot of not necessarily no-name tight ends, but lower tier tight ends who have still been matching the production of those top tier tight ends that they played early on in the season. So I think that Conklin's going to have a big game today. I'm running a lot of, stacks between these players in this game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I might want to go ahead and cue the graphics departments. I think we might have a boat race.
Is that right?
This game. God, that was a perfect drop. Shout out to the graphics department.
Man, I mean, and they're, we're pinching pennies trying to pay them properly, but they're doing a fantastic job, man.
I think I'm calling for a boat race in that game for sure. I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens in this game. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to cover the 6. I think they win by a touchdown, and I'm definitely taking the over 50.5 points.
I got you. So you call in the boat race. You remember the movie It?
With the original
with the clown,
one.
where the clown's in the sewer?
Yeah.
The kid was running the boat down the side of the side of the street, a little paper boat. That might be the kind of boat we get here. I don't see this one being a boat race because I don't think the Vikings are going to be able to bounce back against the Ravens. Now, a lot of those statistics you brought up about the tight end, those are really interesting stats there. But the thing about Lamar Jackson is the NFC don't get to see him that much. And normally when the NFC does get to see him, he likes to blow the socks off of the NFC. He's 11-0 versus the NFC with 25 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So what you said about the 2 passing touchdowns and the 2 rushing touchdowns, I'm 1,000% with you on that. I think the Ravens, I think this game's going to be a blowout. I don't know about a boat race. I think it's going to be a blowout. I got the Ravens over. It's at 50. Is that what it was at? Yeah, 50.5. So I'm gonna take the over 50.5, which is crazy, and I think a lot of that is gonna come from the Ravens. I don't think this will be an equal matchup, even though Adam Thielen has been having a fantastic season. He scored in 5 of his 7 games, and he's seen at least 8 targets 5 times this season. I think that the Ravens are gonna find a way defensively to stop them. One thing you didn't mention, I thought you were definitely gonna mention because you dropped a bunch of nuggets about the Vikings running game or run defense last week going up against the Cowboys. The Ravens right now have the 3rd best running attack in the NFL, 149.4 yards per game. The Beard told us a couple episodes back about how the Vikings have the worst run stop defense in the league right now. So I think that they're going to be able to run all over the Vikings today, which in return will keep Kirk Cousins on the sidelines. Kirk Cousins is having a really good year, 73% completion rate when targeting wide receivers. It's 2nd best in the NFL, and he's got 11 touchdowns to wide receivers, which is tied for 4th in the NFL right now. But I think this game is going to be a little bit different. Their defense is going to be scrambling, trying to figure out how to stop Lamar Jackson in his rushing attack. It's going to keep Kirk Cousins on the sidelines. Give me the Ravens to cover this one, and I'm going to take that over 50.5.
I don't know who's starting running back for them this week.
Don't matter,
right?
Could
Throw
be
out
me.
one of those OGs.
Throw out one of the OGs.
You got Latavius Murray,
Yep.
Le'Veon Bell,
Yep.
Devontae Freeman. You
Yep.
never know.
You
This
never
might be
know.
one of those games where everybody scores a touchdown. Ravens score 7 touchdowns.
That would be wild. But that would be close to my prediction here. So I'm not going to doubt it. This is going to be another one of those games where you see Lamar Jackson and team and crew on the sideline. yeah.
We got to figure out how we do it like this.
Wait, it's this way. Wow. Left side, strong side in the building. Y'all know what it is, man.
Biceps in the chat. Biceps in the chat. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next game on the slate. Shout out to Kyle Key. Shout out to Cernox Connection. Shout out to Kelly E.
I was gonna say can't miss Kelly one time.
we got a ton of Texans fans holding us down here. The Houston Texans are 1-7, as expected to some degree. They are going to Miami to face the Dolphins, who are 1-7, who I didn't expect to be 1-7. Now this
is a crazy matchup.
This is a crazy matchup, and it's gotten even crazier now that Tua Tagovailoa is not. I got good at saying that name, Tua Tagovailoa.
I still don't even try to say his last name. I just like Tua. Tua got 3 straight games with a total QBR over 50, but he's not playing today.
Jacoby Brissett will be your starting quarterback in this game for the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are favored by 5.5 points. The over-under is 46.5. You know what's really crazy? I actually had boat race on my notes for this game, but Tua being out has kind of changed my perspective on that. Listen, Tyrod Taylor. Oh, there goes Lucas.
What up, Lucas?
How you doing,
Dolphins
fans in the house too. Look, Tyrod Taylor's back. I think Tyrod Taylor is going to be the winning quarterback in this game. I think I'm going to take the Texans to win this game. I love Tyrod Taylor. I think Brandon Cooks is going to have a phenomenal game now that Tyrod's back. Look for Brandon Cooks. Look for Nico Collins. Both of those guys to have big games for the Texans today. On the Miami Dolphins side, Devontae Parker is out, so you want to look at Mike Gesicki playing tight end. Every time Devontae Parker is out, Gesicki has a huge game. So I have to go and change quite a few lineups after this we wrap up here, because I had a Tua, Gesicki, and Waddle stack. I thought that this game was going to be a lot more entertaining than you would expect from a 1-7 team and a 1-7 team. But now I like the Texans. I actually think the Texans are going to win this game outright with Tyrod Taylor. I'm going to take the Texans plus 5.5. That over-under now looks a little sketchy. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to take the over 46.5. What you got?
You should, because, I mean, this is 2 really bad teams, man, so it's going to be tough. I think Tyrod Taylor is definitely the difference maker in this game. So 7 games against Miami, he has completed 66% of his passes for 1,443 yards, 10 touchdowns. Guess how many interceptions? 0. I've been waiting for this dude to get back on the field all year. I think that the Texans aren't as bad of a team as people think they are, whereas the Dolphins, maybe they're a better team than their record shows. Who knows? No Tua. I don't think that's going to hurt the Dolphins that much. Jacoby Brissett should be able to step in. As long as he can get the ball to Jalen Waddle, man. Over his past 6 games, Dolphins receiver Jalen Waddle has 3 top 20 finishes and 3 finishes over 60, which is not good for him right there. When he's either hot or he's cold. I don't know how to feel about him entering this game, but as a rookie right now, he's putting up some big numbers. He's putting up some yards. Miami has failed to cover 5 straight times. Give me the Dolphins in this game outright. I think they're going to – give me the Texans in this game outright. I think they're going to win this one easily too. Both teams should put up a good bit of points here. I'm looking at probably about a good 35 to 24-ish, something like that. But I got to go Texans in this one, man. It's going to be an interesting matchup to look at. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is playing for his NFL future too. It's time to, get back, get healthy here, put up some good numbers, maybe find yourself a job for next season with teams that are looking for a quarterback that might not see what they want in the draft. Washington football team, possibly, maybe a couple other teams out there. We'll see.
Malik Willis didn't look so good yesterday. Didn't look so hot.
He didn't look so hot. He was sacked 7 times last I checked too. It was pretty terrible. He had 2 or 3 interceptions. He was struggling, but he's not on a good team. And I think one game shouldn't really change. You got to look at the upside when you're talking about a guy like Malik Willis and how you're going to mold him, develop him into the quarterback you could see fit for your team. Definitely not a guy. I mean, we saw with Trevor Lawrence, man. I mean, the dude was like the best prospect since Andrew Luck coming out the draft. And even that guy can't take the Jaguars into, being even a decent, like around 500 team. So we know the quarterbacks, they're overvalued in the NFL, man. I've been saying that for the past couple of weeks. They're overvalued, especially the young ones. But the ones that are out there that are already putting up numbers, guys like Tyrod Taylor, they do get overlooked a little bit. And, the Texans did take a chance on him this year. He ended up getting an injury early on, but he was playing well before he got hurt. So he's the kind of guy, I'd rather bring in a guy like Tyrod Taylor to be a true bridge kind of quarterback, until you get your rookie right or you get him, ready to take some snaps and get out there and get on the field. I think he's a good guy to have as a starter for a team who's, got things already in play in other positions.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Man, I was looking forward to a boat race, but we're gonna see. Jacoby Brissett.
I think you just like the graphic more than you really like trying to say it's a boat race.
I literally had boat race for this game. I thought this game was going to be one of the most exciting games of the week. So, shout out Lax Ofofo in the building.
What up, fam?
All
what
right,
up?
Ladies and gentlemen, the next game on the slate is the Las Vegas Raiders. Your eyes just lit up on the screen. They are 5-2.
Oh, here we go.
3-point favorites at the New York Giants, who are 2-6. The over/under is 46.5. I'm gonna be quick and easy on this game. I'm gonna let Awthentik, do his thing. Okay.
I'm gonna be quick and easy on this game too.
Hey, we got a revenge game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, and the man seeking the revenge goes by the name of Devontae Booker.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he was with them for half the year.
He was with the Raiders. Listen, Booker's coming off a career-high all-purpose yard total of 125 yards. I think the Giants actually did something really good last week, believe it or not, and that was the way that they defended Travis Kelce. And you talked about it briefly, having Bradbury down there in the slot, more in that area of Kelce.
It's a great game plan.
I think was a great game plan. And I expect him to, transition that game plan into this week, going against somebody like Darren Waller.
If they don't, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to keep it funky.
I can only wait.
Oh, my God. If I see, Darnay Holmes in the slot, I'm going to lose my mind, bro.
I will have my eyes glued to Twitter to see what exactly transpires at that situation.
Hey, this gonna be a fun one. If Daniel Jones goes out there and puts up a dud type game against the Raiders, whose defense is not that great, might I add. You remember when you talked about going up against the Green Bay Packers? I believe that was 2 weeks ago with your Washington football team. They had the worst red zone defense in the league at the time. They were on a streak of 15 or something like that. 15 attempts, 15 touchdowns.
Yep.
Well, the Raiders are kind of looking like that right now. The Raiders are the worst red zone defense in the NFL right now. But that does not give me the confidence. I'm starting to feel like maybe this will be their bounce back game like it was for the Packers. And Daniel Jones, man, boy's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to do some damage, and it's going to be tough. I don't know if you saw the meme, if you may call it, of Nate Solder going around the internet. It was him on his butt on the picnic blanket looking like he had 2 sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly, untoasted. It was bad, bro. And he's going up against Max Crosby today, who's among the league leaders with 16.5 pressure rate. He has 36 pressures on the season right now. That's a matchup that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. I think that the Giants are going to definitely have to find a way to keep the tight end in and be able to help Nate Solder. The Giants, listen to this, man, and this is how you know the injuries are stacked against the Giants. Daniel Jones has completions to 16 different players on the Giants. Only the Saints have more with 18. Who's the kid throwing to? But I don't care. He's going to have to find a way to step it up and be able to find a way to get this ball in the receiver's hands. We talking about NFL talent here, and maybe we can blame that NFL talent thing on Dave Gettleman just a little bit, because our depth has been atrocious this year. But big shout out to that Giants defense, man. In the last 4 games, we're top 7 in takeaways, top 7 in third downs, and tied for 3rd in sacks within that 4-game span. Galladay and Tony going to be playing. That's awesome. Daniel Jones does have back-to-back games with a 90-plus passer rating, so I'll take it. But, man, I'm going to need some more tudders on the board from my boy. 7 on the season does not cut it. I don't want Davis Mills at quarterback. I don't know what that means. 6, 3-3. 3 touchdowns today? Oh,
Daniel Jones.
What's up here? Yo, I hope he does get 3 touchdowns today, man. The Giants are going to need it. But, most important, I think the most important stat of the day for the Giants is going to be go out there and get that W, man. Get us to 3 wins. That's very important. To salvage the season, I picked us to lose the Chiefs game anyway, so that didn't really surprise me that much. But this is a must-win game right now if you want to have any hope for your season. I'm kind of down and out on the Giants right now. I don't know if they can really do anything to turn this around with the situation at hand, but I'm begging them for a victory today. I'll be rooting for my Giants. As far as that over-under, I'm going to go ahead and give you a score prediction right now. I mean, I do think the Giants are going to hang in this game. I think Derek Carr is going to be a little bit too much, and I got the Raiders winning this one 27-24.
All right, I'm going to take the New York Football Giants. I'm going to take them the +3. I'm going to take the over on the 46.5. And Daniel Jones today throws 3 touchdowns, and the New York Football Giants win by a final score of 28-27.
Don't be looking at me in my eyes when you say stuff like that, all right? Kenny Galladay don't got a touchdown on the season. Kadarius Toney doesn't have a touchdown on the season.
Both catch touchdowns today. Big shout out to the homie Cernox Connection for the $5 super chat. Says since both Awthentik and The Beard chose the Texans outright.
Hey man,
Appreciate
that's what's
brother.
up, man. That's what's up. We want to see the Texans do well over here, bro.
Yeah, we're big Tyrod guys, man. We want to see Tyrod Taylor get what he deserves.
Facts, man. He's been in the worst situation. He's kind of like the African-American version of Ryan Fitzpatrick at this point. He's played on so many teams, bro, and he's never in the right situation. I wish a team would just really go all out, like kind of like how the Bills did at one point, but they just failed to build around him. But they did invest their faith in him. I want a team to do that. You know, you remember he had that first year with what's my man's name? Was it not Marvin Lewis? It's that other coach that was with Cleveland, ball-headed dude that got fired. Huggy. What's my man's name? I said Huggy. Hubby something.
He was also the coach for the Raiders too.
I forget my homie's name, but
Huggins,
that was really the only chance that he had
Huggins.
when that was Baker Mayfield's rookie year, I want to say. And then they ended up, playing Baker late in the season when they fired Hugh Jackson.
I mean, even when he was in Hugh Jackson, I think that's what we're thinking of, yeah. Even when he was in Buffalo, bro. Like they were, no matter how good he played, it was almost like they were just automatically trying to get rid of him every chance they had.
Yeah, Nate Peterson got a start.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, look, let's go Tyrod.
Doug Flutie. No, I'm just playing.
Rob Johnson.
Rob Johnson, Doug Flutie.
Oh, man. It's going to be some fun football today. Speaking
Facts.
of fun football, the next game on the slate, the Los Angeles Chargers are
Yo, every
4-3.
time you say loss, right, before a Raiders game and a Chargers game, I'm like, did the graphics team get the graphics wrong? I'm like, San Diego and Oakland to the death, boy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The Los Angeles Chargers, believe it or not, are not underdogs, but very low favorites. They are 4-3, and they are only 1.5-point favorites heading to Philadelphia, who is 3-5. The over-under in this game is 49.5 points. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this game is going to be a boat race. I love Jalen Hurts. I love Justin Herbert. I think that the Chargers are going to put up a lot of points, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points early. And when teams put up a lot of points early, Jalen Hurts goes ham late. I do think that the Chargers are going to end up winning this game by a significant amount of points, more so than 1.5. I think that there's just going to be a lot of interesting plays in this game, I feel like.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get with Nick Sirianni. And the Chargers' new head coach has been phenomenal so far. I love Austin Eckler in this game. I think Jalen Hurts goes back into his ways of either rushing for a touchdown and throwing for a touchdown. I think he has multiple touchdowns in this game. I think Justin Herbert throws for 3 touchdowns in this game. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both catch a touchdown pass, as does Austin Eckler. I am going to take the Los Angeles Chargers minus the 1.5. I'm also going to take the over 49.5 in this game. That was a lot to
I love it. I love it. Got me hyped. This beat I feel like there should be a remix of We Gonna Be All Right with Kendrick Lamar on this joint. Every time I hear that in my head, every time I hear this beat. Now, y'all know I gave y'all the nugget last week. Boston Scott, man, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. He could have had more yards and more touchdowns if it wasn't for Jordan Howard. I'm going to have him started in my starting lineup again this week. The Eagles finally decided to dedicate themselves to the run last week against the depleted Lions, and they rushed for 236 yards, 4 touchdowns on 46 carries, and a 44-6 win, which, yeah, I'm looking for more of that. Now, y'all know, I always like to pick an upset game. I always like to pick one upset game every week on the Parlay here, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m.
Eastern Standard
And let me give you a couple more nuggets before I get to telling you if this one's going to be an upset game. The Chargers are allowing a league-high 160 rushing yards per game right now. That leaves them very vulnerable right now to Jalen Hurts and this Eagles rushing attack one time. Now, the one problem with Jalen Hurts is definitely throwing the ball. You know, accuracy has been an issue. Mechanics has been an issue. And Devonta Smith, sorry about that, being your number one wide receiver makes things a little bit tough. That's a lot of pressure to have on a rookie. And that rookie only has one red zone target since week 1. He's got one red zone target. But we do know that Jalen Hurts likes to run it when they get down to the red zone. He is a red zone maniac. I'm going to go ahead and do it, man. Eagles are going to upset the Chargers today.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, and you see that spread is close like that for a reason. So I do agree this game is going to be a boat race. All it's going to take is for the Eagles to hang with them early on in this game. Don't get down by 2 scores to Justin Herbert, because that's when he's going to try to light you up. You're going to get beat by that screen game with Austin Eckler, and they're going to be able to rely on the run. Keep this thing close, man. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts right now, he's got 12 games with 30 or more rushing yards. Is tied for the second longest streak by a quarterback over the past 20 seasons, bro. Only Lamar Jackson had 14 straight in 2019. So I'm looking for Jalen Hurts. This is a game where you could really put the league on notice against a perennial playoff contender right here in the Chargers, who just got kind of back to, things moving smooth for them. Right now I like what I'm seeing out of the Eagles. I even got a whole paragraph sent to me this morning. Shout out to homie Omar. Sent me a whole 4 or 5 paragraphs actually talking about what garbage time was. I don't think we're going to see a lot of garbage time in this game. Eagles defense is going to have to show up. We know that Hargraves has been a force up front. They're going to have to get to the quarterback today, force some stops, do it up in the red zone, man. The Washington football team gave you a good recipe of how you can beat this Chargers team early on in the year, and so did the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm seeing the Chargers struggling against the NFC East already this year. Give me the Eagles in this game outright. I'm taking the over.
Interesting. I like it, though. I do like it.
It's risky.
I mean, both of these teams need wins.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chargers just lost to the Patriots. So they lose this game, they fall to 400. And, I mean, the Raiders are running away with that division almost at that point. Not necessarily, but you know what I mean. Just the amount of games that separate them. And the Eagles are 3-5. If they win this game, they're 1 game behind 400. I mean, most people thought they were going to get 5 wins all season. So,
and this is the thing, too, man. With the Eagles, they're playing at home. And we know right now they don't have a win at home. They desperate right now, I think, to get a win in front of their home team. Because I believe, the Lions game last week, they traveled to Detroit for that game. So you're looking at, they're 0-3 at home right now. They got to find a way to win in front of their fans. And I think the Eagles fans do deserve it, even though I know my man Tudo would like to slap Eagles fan right in the mouth. I think their home team, deserves at least 1 home win, 4 home games into the season. So I think it's a risky one. But, yeah, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm picking the Eagles in that one.
Not mad at it. This game coming up next. The Green Bay Packers, without Aaron Rodgers, they are 7-1. They are heading to Kansas City, who is 4-4. The Kansas City Chiefs are now a 7-point favorite in this game. The over/under is 48 points. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Listen, I'm gonna say it once more again. Jordan Love is possibly the next.
Oh, you hit me with
Patrick
the is.
Mahomes.
And then you hit me with the possibly. Maybe.
Patrick Mahomes.
Tyrod Taylor.
Look, I love Jordan Love coming out of college. I just thought that he was just a really high prospect. And I love how he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. I think he's gotten the time to properly digest this offense. And he's a different type of quarterback in ways than Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but there are things that, Jordan Love can do that I don't think Aaron Rodgers could necessarily do. The Chiefs are giving up a crazy amount.
Ooh, that's a bold statement. Give what you think it is in the running game, possibly.
Yeah, the Chiefs are giving. Well, I mean, as far as Jordan Love, I mean,
like things he could do, differently than Aaron Rodgers.
The ability to make plays on the run and outside the pocket, I think, are different than that. And what he also does, he can run the ball too. And it's not like run the ball like Lamar Jackson. It's more like run the ball like Patrick Mahomes can. And his ability to throw the ball at different windows and angles is similar to Patrick Mahomes, and he's got a cannon too. He could throw the rock. So I think Davante Adams still steps up and has a huge game in this situation, but I do think that the Packers are going to run the ball a lot. Obviously, this Chiefs rush defense is horrible. They have given up 100+ yards on the ground in 5 of their last 6 games. So I expect Aaron Jones and even A.J. Dillon to get some eating on. But I think Aaron Jones goes over 100 yards today. He might go over 150 total yards from scrimmage today, Aaron Jones, considering that he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. But I also love A.J. Dillon. I think A.J. Dillon is a nice little low-key play. He might get 60, 70 total yards today. Might even sneak you a touchdown.
Still worried about him and his fumbles a little bit. He's got ball security issues, yeah.
He's a big dude, though, too. I was surprised that they didn't give him the ball on the goal line in that last game, but that's besides the fact. The Chiefs, I mean, look.
That was because the fumble. I remember, and then they gave it to Aaron. Did you see the run from Aaron Jones, though? He was stopped like 4 yards short with like 2 or 3 defenders right on him, and he just leaned on them, bro, and got in the end zone. I was like, this is a stronger running back than I expected.
I was talking about the one where they went for it on 4th down and they didn't get it.
On that one, yeah. The first touchdown Aaron Jones got was right after the Dillon fumble.
Yeah. But the Chiefs, listen, if you have any Chiefs player, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, you're playing them. They're still the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't care what anybody says. They've had their issues, yes, but I still believe in them, especially on a fantasy football level. That being said, there's no way I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to cover 7 points. I don't care what anybody says. It's just not going to happen. They might win this game. They might get close to covering that spread, but I cannot pick the Chiefs -7 against the Green Bay Packers. It just feels weird. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers plus the 7. I'm also going to take the over 48 points in this. Can the Packers win this game? Yes. Can the Chiefs win this game? Yes. I don't know who's going to win this game. I just know that the Chiefs aren't going to cover. That's where I'm going to have to go with this game right now.
Yeah, I think that it does make it interesting for the Chiefs today. But, I mean, Packers are playing with a backup quarterback. And you got to think about Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Their connection and chemistry is probably one of the best in the league. So we're going to have to see, can Jordan Love have any kind of chemistry with Davante Adams? Because if he can't, outside of Davante Adams, that wide receiver core is average at best. A stat to know here is that the Packers wide receiver Davante Adams, 2 games with 10+ receptions this season. It trails only one other wide receiver in the NFL for most 10+ receptions games, and that is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is the one guy in this game that I think that you're not going to be able to stop. But I do think the Giants defense put out, the recipe of how you stop the Chiefs offense. You got to find a way to stop Kelce. And then in return, that's going to force them to rely on those stop routes, those short plays to Mecole Hardman, who Mecole Hardman had a pretty good game last week as well, too, on a lot of yak in that game for him. Mahomes is struggling this year. He's got 10 interceptions in the NFL. It's the most, but he is still putting up a bunch of touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes is quarterback 20 over the past 3 weeks and hasn't finished a week better than quarterback 8 since week 4. So he's had a bit of since week 4, he's pretty much been struggling pretty mightily here. I'd look for him to bounce back in this game. I don't know if it's going to get to the over, though, because the Packers haven't been putting up, a ton of points all year long. They've been a team in the 20s pretty much every game. I'm looking for this one to probably be backup quarterback. I'm going to say the Chiefs cover. I'm going to keep it interesting. I'm going to say the Chiefs cover. I'm going to go 28-20 Chiefs.
It's a good score. Definitely see that one coming. It's just such a tough game, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting to see how Jordan Love performs in his first start in the NFL.
Yeah, I hope he can light it up, man. I got him at starting quarterback today. I put out a quick poll on my Twitter. I said Daniel Jones or Jordan Love. Everybody was like, Daniel Jones, obviously. And I do think that is the obvious pick there, but I got to go out on a limb here. Daniel Jones ain't putting touchdowns up on the board, so I got to go out on a limb here. I'm going to try the young boy this is his debut pretty much, right? Has he gotten any PT at all?
He's played garbage
time. The word of the day. I'm telling you, I had the definition sent to me this morning. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't. Who made the definition up though? That's the
I
question.
wanted to ask that, but sometimes people can be so long-winded that you don't want to respond. It's too much to respond back to. You know what I mean? Like, it was like 10 points, and then he brought up Mike Too Nice, and I was like, oh, I'm done. Right there. I was like, I'm done. I was just like, hey, man, thanks for supporting the channel, man. I kept it funky. I'm going to keep it real, but I couldn't respond to everything. It was a little bit too long-winded, but the definition of garbage time was just like a white screenshot, just
And
paragraph
said, like,
written by
when you're
somebody.
down by one or more possession or something like that. It was. I couldn't.
It was pretty much that if you're down by anything over 8 points in the second half of the game, pretty much. Let me just read it.
I was tagged in it. I was tagged in it, so I saw it.
Oh, nah, but this one was different. The little definition joint that I got was it was from the same person, but it was different. And shout out to homie Omar for supporting the show. I got a sneeze just right there. You know how that sneeze be right there, and it don't want to just sneeze. Like,
I get it all the time when my mustache hair started tickling my nose.
yeah, it was. You know what, man? The paragraph is so long. I'm not even gonna scroll through that. It was like 5 paragraphs. But yeah, man. Garbage time to me. Whatever. Put up the numbers on the board, man. Giants should have some numbers on the board too, as well. We've been playing a couple garbage time games.
And here during the parlay in fantasy football, if there is such a thing called garbage time, we love it. So that's where
oh, yeah, you already know, because if there is garbage time for them fantasy teams, we gonna need some tutters.
All right, the next game on the slate is filled with injuries. Ooh, I like the way this one looks. It's the Arizona Cardinals.
Let me tell you why this one looks like this. I got an email from the graphics department that told me about this. They said that with the particular font that we use for the other teams, the 49, the numbers aren't in the same font, so it just doesn't work out well. So the 49ers get a special graphic at home every week. So shout out to the graphics department, man. They're doing their thing over there with Awthentik and The Beard, man. They sent me a personal business email this morning and told me why the 49ers graphic looks a little different.
Shout out to graphics department.
You ever look at a word and it just look like it ain't spelled right?
All the time.
Cardinals. I don't know what it is, dog. Every time I'm like, that.
Every
that
time I spell it, I have
right.
to make sure I'm not spelling it wrong. It's just, I feel you. Cardinals is one of those words, 100%.
I think it's the all caps vibes.
The Arizona Cardinals are 7-1. They are headed to the Bay, the San Francisco 49ers, who have not won a home game since the start of last year. The 49ers are 4-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 45.5. Rumor has it, no Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, Deebo Samuel's on a snap count, George Kittle's on a snap count, Elijah Mitchell's on a snap count. I don't even know what to do in this game right now.
What about AJ Green? He was dealing with the COVID situation early on in the week,
AJ Green's on the COVID situation. Look, listen, let's do this. Chase Edmonds is going to have a monster game today. That's all. That's one thing I do know. I do know Chase Edmonds is going to have a monster game today, especially if Kyler Murray doesn't play, because that means Colt McCoy is going to play. If Colt McCoy is going to play,
Colt McCoy's the backup over there.
Yes.
Oh my God! You see, you got to get yourself a backup quarterback who, when you bring him in the game, when you're forced to bring him in the game, he has a similar style to the quarterback that is the starter, which is why I loved all your nuggets about Jordan Love in Green Bay. He does a lot of things similar to what a guy like Aaron Rodgers can do. You even compared him to Patrick Mahomes, a guy who can throw on the run, wheel and deal it, sling it sideways, sidearm, all that. We gonna bring in Colt McCoy? Oh, my goodness.
And listen to this. The San Francisco 49ers on the season are 2-5 against the spread. The Arizona Cardinals are 6-2 against the spread. I literally don't know who to play in this game. I have all of these players.
Ooh, let me get a little nugget to go against that. The Arizona Cardinals are 4-0 against the spread on the road this season, while San Francisco is 0-3 at home.
Yes, and that is why they haven't won a game at home since the start of last year, which is insane. But listen, all that being said, if Colt McCoy starts this game at quarterback, I like the San Francisco 49ers in this game.
I was like, where are we going with this?
But I don't like them to cover. That's where I was going with it. I was like, I had to remind myself. It's so weird to me that the 49ers are favored in this game.
What if he goes out there and lights it up?
It's possible. I mean, we've seen it maybe once or twice in his career. But listen, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to win the game, but I am going to take the Cardinals to cover. I'm going to take the Cardinals to cover. I think this is a 3-point victory for the San Francisco 49ers. I think it's going to be sloppy and ugly. I'm going to take the under 45.5.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the under in this game. And give me the 49ers to cover. I don't like many players in this game outside of Deebo Samuels, who's been a top 8 wide receiver for the past 2 weeks and 4 times this season. So I like Deebo. Oh, what is this going to do to Zach Ertz? Maybe Zach Ertz can be the security blanket for your boy Colt McCoy.
I like that.
One of 4 tight ends with 100 receiving yards and a touchdown. I mean, my man is definitely balling his last 4 games. So I think Ertz can maybe be a factor, but it's Colt McCoy. Zach Ertz is coming off a 7-catch, 108-yard game with a touchdown. Oh, in 2 games, actually. Them Cardinals going to struggle today. Them Cardinals going to struggle today. Colt McCoy? Take this with a grain of salt, because has it been announced yet that Kyler Murray is not playing with this ankle injury?
He's not officially inactive, but the word on the street is he's going to be inactive.
I'll take the Cardinals if Kyler Murray is playing, but if Kyler Murray's not playing and no D-Hop and no A.J. Green, yeah, that's going to be it. I'll 13-10 Niners.
Shout out to the homie Rio. We should be rescheduled to be on that show this upcoming week. If you guys haven't checked him out, check him out on YouTube.
Was it really a verbal assault? Facts over feelings. I talked about that on Twitter. It's going to be a new saying over here at Awthentik and The Beard.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Over feelings, because, look, I'm going to let you get the question off.
Okay.
But did I state anything that was wrong about Daniel Jones? I wasn't like, yo, dude is straight garbage. What are you doing out here? I'm just like, Jameis Winston has double the amount of touchdowns that Daniel Jones has on the year. Davis Mills has the equal amount of touchdowns that Daniel Jones has on the year. Josh Johnson, for God's sakes, went out there the other night on Thursday Night Football and put up 3 touchdowns. Damn near had 4, had his team in position to win the game, and the Jets are awful. They're awful. I don't even know who they got catching the ball out there, but ask me the question.
Where'd you find that facts gif? The one where they're reading the book of facts?
You won't believe it, bro. I just searched facts.
That's a fantastic
You like that, right? And somebody was like, this is where Awthentik's been getting all his information about Daniel Jones, and it was the kids holding the book open, and it was like facts on the title of it. I mean, I'm just dropping facts, man. Like, it's no hate towards Daniel Jones. He does have, like, I think 5 games over 90-plus passer rating this year. But I'm looking for a guy. Wasn't everybody talking about the maturation of Daniel Jones this year? And, yeah, we know he's dealing with the injuries. But I'm not a guy that's going to sit up here and just keep making excuses when around the league you got guys like Tyrod Taylor out there putting up good games. Davis Mills out there putting up the same amount of touchdowns. Taylor Heineke's got more touchdowns. Tua's got more touchdowns. The list can go on and on. And I'm not ragging on him as far as the passing yards, because as far as the passing yards, I think Daniel Jones is like 9th in the NFL right now. That's pretty decent. But you got to find a way to stop giving games away. And against the Kansas City Chiefs, the pivotal point starts on Daniel Jones. You gonna throw an interception on the first pass play you get? You know Daniel Jones opened up the season with a sack on the first play of the game? Come on. No, we can't keep doing this stuff. You know, Eli Manning ain't doing these. Eli Manning, he see that blitz coming in. He know he got to get rid of the ball. He's going to throw it out of bounds, or he's going to throw it at somebody's feet. Daniel, can we start throwing the ball at people's feet? That is a way to get out of a situation and not get an intentional grounding call. You know, I'm just looking for this kid to be able to put together consistent games. Another fact I put over the feelings is he doesn't have back-to-back games with multiple touchdowns all year. Dak Prescott has 3 touchdowns in every game but 1. I know the weapons are different. I know you could come up with a billion excuses. And the one thing I think that people are relying on this year as the number one, not fact, the number one opinion of why Daniel Jones is struggling is because of Jason Garrett. They be like, he's the worst offensive coordinator in the league. Just name me a couple more. Just name it. It shows me that you're a Giants fan, because you can't name other offensive coordinators around the league. There's a bunch of offensive coordinators around the league that are terrible. Except for Pat Shurmur, who's got Teddy Bridgewater playing decent football. Another quarterback who has more touchdown passes than Daniel Jones on the season.
It might have been easier just to put the people that he doesn't have more touchdown passes in.
I know.
It would have been as fun, though.
It'd be like some wide receivers and stuff. My bad. Hey, John Station is in the building. Y'all know what it is, man.
Yo,
so that casket dip.
That would have been so good. Cedric Wilson only has 2 less passing touchdowns.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great. You got 2 kids, though, who have only played in 1 full game that combined have the amount of touchdowns that Daniel Jones has. And they're on the same team in the Jets, man. Find a way, man. Find a way.
Speaking of finding a way, the Tennessee Titans have found their way to a record of 6-2, and they are headed to this is not a mistake, Los Angeles Rams, who are 7-1. The Rams are 7-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 52.5. As many of you know, Derrick Henry is out for the season. The Titans have signed Adrian Peterson, but it will be a collection of running backs taking over in this game. Look, this is the game where Ryan Tannehill has to show that he is not just an average quarterback. This is the game where Julio Jones shows that he's got more in the tank. This is the game where A.J. Brown has to show that he is a rising star in the NFL. I'm looking for them to show up. This is a perfect game for them to do so against this Los Angeles Rams team and this defense who might not have Von Miller in tonight's game. We will wait and see as we get closer to kickoff. Look, Cooper Kupp has been on a tear this year. He is statistically the best wide receiver in the National Football League right now.
Yeah, fantasy-wise especially.
Yeah, it's insane. So in this game, obviously, you have weapons all over the field. I'm looking for that Titans offense to take a step up here. They're going to have to find a way, and it's going to be a tough matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. But I love the Rams, and I love the Rams in this game.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to take the Rams.
Quick pause? You go ahead and give me that. We got to take a quick pause.
I'll take the Rams minus the 7. Actually, no. I'm going to take Tennessee to cover the 7, but I will take the Rams to win, and I am going to take the over 52.5 in tonight's game.
I like the over. Oh, it dropped to 52.5. I definitely like the over. Now, just a couple little Giants things here. Okay. This is what happens when your feelings get in the way of facts, because nowhere did I say go get a new quarterback. Did I? I don't think I heard me say that. I didn't say go get a new quarterback, right? I said this quarterback needs to start playing better. And one more, and this is my homie right here. You know my homie. This is my homie word one time, right? We also don't have any wide receivers. Can we just take a look at who the Jets are throwing the ball to right now? Ryan Griffin at tight end. Wide receiver-wise, you've had Corey Davis has been out of the lineup, so it's been Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, Keelan Cole. Come on, y'all. Come on. Darius Slayton has shown he can put up numbers in this league and be a number 1 wide receiver over there right now. Now to this Titans and Rams game right here one time. I love what the Rams are doing right here. They are the model of how you build a real NFL team. They have not had a first-round pick since 2016, since Sean McVay got over there and found a way to build a winning team. Now, granted, they had their centerpiece in Donald on the line. Aaron Donald on the line, which I think Washington, y'all need to take notes. The Washington football team, you guys got a stud of a defensive line. Young players, Chase Young, Montez Sweat. You could use them as the core to build your whole defense around and build your team around. They bring in Von Miller, who might be out in this game with an ankle injury, but the Rams right now are sitting at number 1 with 25 sacks in the NFL, and they're going to add Von Miller to the roster. This is about to be ridiculous right here. The Titans allow a league worst 216 passing yards per game to just wide receivers. And we know what the Rams do at wide receiver position right now. So I'm looking for the Rams to go out here and really light it up. But the Titans did surprise me when they played the Bills. They did have Derrick Henry in that game, though, the workhorse. But they did surprise me against a Super Bowl contending type team. We know the Rams are a Super Bowl contending type team. I just think that in this game, without Derrick Henry on the field, you're going to see this offense struggle just a little bit. So I'm going to go with the Rams in this one to cover, and I'm going to take the under, actually, in this one.
Interesting.
I didn't see that last one. You took it off a little quick. I just saw Authentic Voice.
Just, a big shout out to Authentic in Authentic Voice.
Ash Money, my man, in the Authentic Voice. My man. Shout out my man, Ash Money. Y'all, go sub up to Ash Money. Go show some love to a fellow Giants content creator doing his thing. Young boy on the up and up right now, balancing his life as well and doing a bunch of other content across the internet. Make sure y'all sub up to the homie Ash Money, man. He's a good dude.
Big shout out Ash Money. And
real quick,
yes.
big shout out to Big Pat. If y'all haven't and you got a lot of time on your hands, maybe at the end of the football day today, go check out Big Pat's last stream that he did. Ash Money was on there with Joel, a few others. MYG Jeff was in the building on that one too, where Pat focused on plays that we were just like, it's a play-by-play breakdown for the Giants, man, and it is pitiful, bro. You got the one play that stands out on his breakdown. I'll make this real quick. He had a single wide receiver to the left in the red zone, 2 wide receivers in like a tight formation to his right. It was screaming, throw the fade route. Colin Johnson, who's like 6'5", 6'6" on the outside.
Tallest wide receiver in the league.
out there, beats his cornerback one-on-one. Daniel Jones didn't bat an eye over there. So for me, a lot of the things that are happening with the Giants, I feel like half of them are pre-snap reads from Daniel Jones, where we know Eli Manning was one of the GOATs pre-snap read, which is why Saquon Barkley had his best year in 2018, and we haven't seen him get back to that since. I think it was 91 catches, 2,000 all-purpose yards, 1,000-yard running back. We haven't seen him get back to that. So that's one of the things I really want to see Daniel Jones improving. But like I said, big shout out to Big Pat one time, another great Giants content creator. He's going to be my next guest that I have on Giant Overreaction. It'll either be this Monday or next Monday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure y'all go sub up to Big Pat one time.
Shout out Big Pat. Always enjoy those too. It is a lot of fun, a lot of laughs for sure.
You know what I noticed about Big Pat, man? Big Pat, one of them dudes that really, really, really know his football. Like in and out, from the line to the wide receivers to the defense. He's one of them dudes. I don't know if he ever coached or played ball. You could tell though that he got a close eye to the game. And it was very like educational watching him break down tape, yo, like really seeing it from his angle, man. The dude really knows what he's talking about. So again, man, make sure y'all go sub up. It's Big Pat Sports on YouTube. Just Google that. He'll come up, man. I want to say somewhere down south because I know his time zone is different than ours. I want to say he might be in like Texas possibly. I'm not too sure, but definitely killing and putting his foot in his Giants content game one time.
So the last game on the slate, sir, the Chicago Bears, who are 3-5. That was a good one. That was a good the Bears, because not everybody can do it. That was a good one. They're heading to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, who are 4-3. The Steelers are 6.5-point favorites, and get this: the over/under is a whopping 38.5 points.
Jeez.
Now, the reason why is because you have two of the worst scoring offenses in the National Football League. The Bears are averaging 15.4 points a game. And the Steelers are averaging 18.9 points per game. Okay?
Wow.
The Chicago Bears have allowed 30 sacks on the year. And guess who is coming for that line? It's none other than TJ Watt. I feel
no son. Just a good
what? No son? That's a dope one right there. Look, I feel for Justin Fields because he just had his best game as a professional last week. And now he has to go to Pittsburgh and face this defensive line. It's going to be an interesting game. I think you might see a lot of running. You might see a lot of Khalil Herbert. You might see a lot of Najee Harris in this game. I mean, it's just going to be tough for me to pick the Chicago Bears to come anywhere close with that offensive line against the Steelers' defense. I know the Steelers aren't scoring as many points in this season as they would like, obviously, but I mean, if you had to choose against an offensive line
Odell Beckham
and a defensive, I mean, look,
Odell Beckham.
They need to make a run too. They're over 500 now. They're 4-3. That'd be a good matchup. And I think, a lot of times you have to think about this. When I look at players who are, on the outside of that viewpoint that people in the media may have of them, we don't really know. We can speculate all we want, but we're not in the locker room. We're not in the sideline. We're not in the team meetings. We don't know for sure, right? But if you have any doubts or questions and you want to send them to a place, who better than Mike Tomlin, who to me is top-tier head coaches in the National Football League.
Big facts.
I heard one of the things that I heard him say, and I'm going to be real short on this recently, was he did an interview on the Pat McAfee show, right? And they asked him, like, how do you deal with, this new age of football without becoming an old man, get off my lawn, like, all the TikToking and this and that. He's like, I got two kids who I believe are 20 and 19 or 21 and 19. And he's like, like that really helps me when it comes to some of these younger players. And to me, like, that just kind of stood out as something like, he's a real life dude who can take, real life situations and apply those to how he coaches his players and how he deals with his players. And you haven't heard anything about Juju Smith-Schuster off the field. I know he's been hurt, you know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah,
I just feel like it would be a good fit for that reason. Now, outside of that and back to the game, I am going to take the Steelers. I am going to take the Steelers minus 6.5. I'm going to take the over 38.5.
Really? I was going to see.
This is an NFL football game. You guys should be scoring more points than 38.5. So that's how I feel.
I mean, this is the Steelers right now. The Steelers only got 2 interceptions on the whole year. That's bad.
Minka Fitzpatrick hasn't been. I mean, it's not good. Not good at all.
It's not good. Their defense has been pretty decent though, but they have been in a bunch of low scoring games. I'm gonna take the under, bro. I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the under, and I don't think the Steelers cover.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. Chase Claypool, very underwhelming last week, man.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to bounce back. But here's the thing: his last week was his worst game of the year. Allen Robinson hasn't even sniffed a good game this year.
He's got to be the biggest disappointment in fantasy football
and before we get up out of here, shout out to the homie one time right here, man, Darren Gill. Appreciate it, brother. Check this one out, though. I was like half asleep, and I screenshotted this last night. I'm hoping it's one of my latest
Big Ben's
ones.
got to retire, too, after this year. He can't move anymore.
Yeah, but, you can make things happen when you can't move. It's just the weapons over there are struggling because, no Juju. That was his main guy, and Chase Claypool's been banged up a lot this year, too. But check this out, man. Of the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL, of the top 10, Dave Gettleman paid 2 of them. Right now, you're looking at Kenny Golladay. He's the 6th highest paid wide receiver in the league, getting $18 million a year. Odell Beckham, exactly $18 million a year. And you got Tyreek Hill, Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, all ahead of them, who I think are all worth the money. Okay, they're all making between 19 and DeAndre Hopkins is making $27 million with the Cardinals right now. Amari Cooper is one of the only wide receivers to really be traded mid-year and completely change a team around. You remember how Dak Prescott's play completely increased when they got Amari Cooper?
Changed.
The other guy that's on this list is Allen Robinson, bro. He's making $17.9 million a year. He's the number 9 paid wide receiver in the league. There's only 3 wide receivers on this whole list that are playing like absolute – there's 4, actually, that are playing like absolute garbage. Let me see. No, there's 3. Julio Jones is on this list, too, at $22 million. He's the 2nd highest paid wide receiver in the league. But Dave Gettleman gave Kenny Golladay and Odell Beckham $18 million. Like something is not right. Something is just not right with that. Where all these other wide receivers, they've been assessed properly. Tyler Lockett, $17.3 million. Tyreek Hill, $18 million. Michael Thomas, $19.3, dealing with a bunch of injuries. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and DeAndre Hopkins. Like the Giants got to find a way to assess the talent just a little bit better because we gave $18 million a year to a guy that we know has injury problems. So this goes back to that value conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find a way to, like, be like, hey, bro, you're always hurt. I can't pay you the same thing that Tyler Lockett is getting with the Seahawks. You're always hurt. And Tyler Lockett is out here balling, with his quarterback having a hand injury or whatever. That definitely set him back a little bit. But before that, he was putting up a couple 30-point games for me in fantasy, man. So for me, man, it's just like, you got to find a way to assess these wide receivers. And a lot of Giants fans wanted to bring in Allen Robinson. I don't know if this is really an Allen Robinson thing or if this is a Chicago Bears thing. It's really hard to tell. Same thing goes for Kenny Golladay. Is this a Kenny Golladay thing or is this a New York Giants football thing? It's probably a little bit of both for sure. But, I don't look for him to bounce back in this game. Allen Robinson has just struggled all year. He's been outside of wide receiver 40 for the whole entire season. You talked about Justin Fields last week having one of his better games. He's thrown at least 1 interception in 5 of his past 7 games, and he had 3 against the Tampa Bay Bucks. So maybe that interception number for the Steelers can change a little bit today. Their defense can, maybe push that spread a little bit farther. But I'm gonna take the under, and I'm gonna take the Bears to cover, actually, in this game. I think Justin Fields has a lot to prove, and he'll do his best to try to fight and keep that game close.
It's going to be an interesting next. So I guess we got about 36 to 40 hours between now and Monday Night Football. It's going to be an interesting ride.
I like that. I like that, man. Make sure to check us out Monday. We're going to be doing the Giant Overreaction. Beard, I got to get you as a guest one time on the Giant Overreaction. My Giants Nation, we trying to pull you over. We trying to, turn that burgundy into a little bit of red. You know what I'm saying? The white can stay, add a little bit of blue, and we got a new Giants fan at hand.
Yeah, it was actually really, listen, I don't know if you ever watch stuff in 1.5, 2 speed on YouTube or not.
I did it last night for like the first time, bro, but I don't like doing that.
You should hear us in 2 times.
Oh, I bet it's crazy. I was looking at that Kanye West interview with Noriega yesterday, man. That was Bro, that's a solid interview. I think that Noriega and Drink Champs, DJ EFN over there, they got one of the best platforms out there as far as interviews with hip-hop artists. And his saying, I love the saying on the show, you know, it's all about giving artists their flowers right now before they pass away, because anybody who's listened to Authentic, you know, on The Color of Us, I got a song called Funeral Flowers. And it's all about, like, don't wait till the end to try to give somebody their flowers, man. Give them their flowers right now. You know, people out here pushing their lives, trying to raise the bar, you know, for themselves. And I think, you know, just humanity, especially when you get on Twitter a lot, you realize, man, like, people are just really cold, man, and they really want to see people lose. Goes to another song I got on the album called See You Win, because, like, bro, like, I don't want to see nobody lose, bro. Like, you could pull up to Authentic and The Beard all four shows we do all week long, and you can hate on me all week. I still don't want to see you lose. Maybe, you know, in a football game type of aspect. But as far as lives go, bro, I'm trying to see everybody win, man. So best of luck to everybody as far as fantasy goes this week, man. You know, we're pushing 12:45 here right now. We definitely got to go adjust a couple little lineups here, I think. I know the Beard's got a lot of DraftKings he's got to adjust. We don't want to be losing no bread here. I'm about to challenge you to something. We should do, and we should have started this in the front half of the season, but for the back half of the season, you should put together a lineup that we invest in every week, and we keep tabs on it and keep a record on it. And let's see how good we really are doing with this fantasy football stuff, because, man, I've got some good upset picks this week.
We'll start that next week. Let's do it. So Saturday night, we'll put together a lineup.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, we'll show it on the parlay. And if anything needs to be changed, you know, like how I have to do with Tua, we'll change it. And then we'll track it. I think that would be dope. For sure.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And then Tuesday, we could probably maybe start the show with how the results went, kind of update people on how things went and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, look, Tuesdays, we have free range to have fun and talk about everything, because we don't have any hard outs. So shout out to that Tuesday show, because y'all be killing it on the Tuesday show in the chat. And don't forget, everybody, put them biceps in the chat. Hit me with one of those, Authentic.
Hey, check out Marjorie's suggestion one time. Y'all make sure to put some biceps in the chat one time. Y'all know what it is. Left side.
Strong side.
I love this comment right here from Marjorie.
Good on Beard. They should do a stream where Washington football team plays the New York Giant Beard in Giants attire and all that.
We'll both come on like fanboys of the opposite team. I actually like that idea, Marjorie. Maybe the last week of the season, that'd be a great way to have some fun. So we'll keep that idea in mind for sure, man. We've been getting some great ideas from moderators, from family in the chat, from people on Twitter, man. So we really appreciate y'all with the engagement. We try to just, you know, keep all the engagement on a 1,000% type deal. Couldn't do this without y'all, man. Still got 50 in the building. Y'all make sure to go set y'all lineups, man. Get everything right before you get into this week 9 of football. I cannot believe we are already here at week 9. It strangely feels like we've been on air for about 5 months, but like 5 games. It's kind of weird. I don't know. The balance is kind of strange. But, man, y'all be good, man. This was a fantastic show. We had a blast chopping it up with everybody, man. Best of luck with y'all with your fantasy games. And keep living those dreams, y'all. Keep living those dreams. Keep raising that bar. Make it better every day. Every day is another day to make it better, man. So we going to holler at y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Spike don't care.